You know that feeling, right? After a long day of just thinking, you feel totally exhausted, like your brain just ran a marathon. But what if I told you that the actual energy it takes to think hard is, well, it's surprisingly tiny?
Yeah, this pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? That feeling like you just need to plug your brain directly into a charger. But here's the twist. That mental fatigue you feel has way less to do with your brain running out of gas and a whole lot more to do with some ancient built-in programming. So is that really what's happening? Is a tough day at your desk really a marathon for your mind? It sure feels like it. We just assume that solving some complex problem or learning a new skill must be this massive energy hog. But the actual science tells a completely different and honestly a much more fascinating story. And this brings us to what we can call the mentally drained myth. It's this story we've all kind of bought into about how our brains work. But, it's time for a little reality check, courtesy of some really cool neuroscience.
And look, that feeling is totally real. When you're concentrating hard, you are focusing your attention, and it feels like hard work. But, and this is the key, that feeling of exertion is not a direct measurement of how much energy you're burning. It's something else entirely.
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. Prepare yourself for what I'm calling the 5% surprise. This one little number really flips the whole script on what we think mental effort is.
That's it, 5%. According to research reviewed by neuroscientist Sharna Jamadar, all that effortful, goal-directed stuff we call thinking, it only uses about 5% more energy than when your brain is just kind of idling in the background. I mean, just look at this split. That tiny little sliver, that 5%, that's you studying for a final exam or trying to solve a really tricky problem at work. That massive 95% chunk is dedicated to, well, everything else. This chart really tells the true story of what your brain is busy with all day long. And that's the big question, isn't it? If focused thinking is just a tiny fraction of the brain's energy bell, what on earth is going on with that other 95%? What's the real main event in there? Well, it all comes down to the brain's hidden workload. It's the constant, incredibly complex, and absolutely vital stuff happening completely under the radar of our conscious minds. Think about your brain's actual to-do list. It's the ultimate manager of your body's entire operation. It's regulating your temperature, coordinating all your organs, reacting to the world around you, and on top of all that, it's constantly trying to predict what your body is going to need next. That's where all the energy is going. Neuroscientist Jordan Theriault puts it perfectly. We think of our brain as being for thinking. But from an energy perspective, its main job is just keeping the lights on in this incredibly expensive biological machine that it's attached to. A huge part of this comes down to a concept called homeostasis. It's your brain's relentless 24/7 job to keep everything inside you in a stable, life-sustaining balance. If your blood sugar drops, if you get too hot, your brain is instantly on the case working to fix it. It's a job that never, ever gets a break. And here's where it gets even cooler. Your brain doesn't just sit around and wait for problems to pop up. It's a prediction engine. It's always building these complex models of the world to anticipate what you'll need so it can get resources ready before you even consciously know you need them. So why is our brain built this way? Why is focused thinking such a small slice of the pie? Well, the answer is deep in our evolutionary past. Our brains evolved to be incredibly stingy with energy. Neuroscientist Zahid Padamsi explains it perfectly. For most of human history, calories were hard to come by. Wasting energy could literally be a death sentence. So our brains developed these powerful mechanisms to conserve every last bit of fuel. That mental fatigue you feel, that's just your brain's ancient programming begging you to stop spending those precious resources. And just look at this data. This is absolutely astonishing. Our neurons could, theoretically, fire at 500 times a second. The best speed for pure information is around 250. But our actual average speed? It's about 4 times per second. That's not a bug, it's an extreme energy-saving feature. And get this, even when a neuron is all revved up and ready to send a message, it only actually follows through about 20% of the time. Now that sounds super inefficient, right? But it's the exact opposite. It's an incredibly clever way to save a ton of energy by only sending the absolute most critical signals. So all of this really points to one fundamental design principle of the human brain. It prioritizes efficiency over raw power. Every
single time. So this brings us to the final big takeaway. On one side, you have our common assumption that the brain's goal is just to maximize how much information it can process. But the evolutionary reality is so much smarter. The real goal is to maximize the information you get per unit of energy spent, per molecule of ATP, which is your body's energy currency. It's all about getting the best bang for your buck.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Knowing that your brain is a hyper-efficient, energy-saving survival machine and not some brute force supercomputer, how does that change the way you approach mental work, focus, and that feeling of being totally drained? It's a whole new way to think about thinking itself.